Alright, so we're taking a look at how you would set up your contact sheet for contact sheet 2-2, nature versus built. Is it built environment? Let's see. Yeah, natural versus built environment. So we're going to assume here that you already have Photoshop and Bridge installed on your machine. I'm also going to assume that you have gone to the assignments and guideline rubrics page and downloaded the contact sheet template, which is a Photoshop file, and you already have it on your computer. So I'm going to go through and create the 4-shot proof sheet for this assignment, and I'm going to go through the contact sheet and also laying it out in the actual template. So I have Bridge open in front of me here, and I'm in a folder with my 4 proof shots. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on these images in the order that I would like them laid out on my proof sheet. So I'm going to hit Command click because I'm on a Mac, but this would be Control click if you're on a Windows machine. And I'm just going to select them in the order that I would like them to appear on the contact sheet. Now I'm going to go out of the viewer here with my mouse and go up to the Tools menu, go under Photoshop and Contact Sheet 2, and Photoshop was already open on my computer, but if it was not, you'd have to wait for it to open, and then you would get this little Contact Sheet 2 dialog box. Lets me know that I've got these 4 files selected from Bridge. Gives me some options on the dimensions I would like to set for my contact sheet. These default dimensions are actually more than enough for what we're doing, viewing it on a screen. And then you can also come down here, and this is the more important bit for you guys. You can decide how it lays your images out. I've played with this in the 2-column, 2-row layout. Seems to work out pretty nice, so I'm going to stick with that. And then you can also come down here, and if this is not checked, you can check it if you would like the file names to actually come up as captions for your images. I actually did go ahead and name my images so it made a little bit of sense when I was referring to them rather than just 0005.jpg or something like that. I gave it an actual title. So I'm happy with the layout. I'm happy with the way that the file names are showing up as captions. At this point, I'm just going to click OK, and Photoshop's going to do its work. So it's going to actually go through and add the images in. It's creating a few different text layers and things. It's going to lay them out in this document. And yay, I've got images and text. So at this point, I could save this and go ahead and put it into the template. I'm actually going to neaten it up a little bit though, so you notice like the text here belongs to these images and the text down here belongs to these images. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten that up a little bit so that it makes a little more sense to my viewer. For instance, this Kells and Field one, I'm just going to click on my text layer over here, and then I'm going to drag up Kells and Field so it's a little bit tighter where the image is. We'll go ahead and do the same for nature reclaiming. Let's drag that up there. Maybe the same for water structure. I'm actually going to control click, which would be the same thing as right click on your mouse. Select it this way this time and do the same thing and just drag it up here. So looks a little bit nicer. Might even tighten up my layout just a little bit here with my images. So I'm going to grab, what is this, Kells and Field and Nature Reclaiming. Yeah, we'll just shift select and grab all these up here. I'm going to drag those up a little bit, and I'm going to do the same with the bottom ones too, just drag them up a little. Okay, so like I said, you could let it make the contact sheet, let it do the layout, and just be happy with the way it looked, or if you want to go in here and customize it, you are welcome to do that. Now I'm going to bring up my save dialog, just using the shortcut keys for save as, and there we go. And I'm going to select in my format JPEG. I'm also going to go up here and change the name. Let's see, contact sheet, that's actually pretty good. Let's say contact sheet Haggerty proofs. We'll go with that. And you can also tell it where you want to save. It's already in the area that I want it to save. I'm going to click Save. It's going to ask me how high a quality. If you're around the max quality, that's actually pretty good for this particular exercise. So I'm going to leave it at that and say OK. So it did go ahead and save this contact sheet as a JPEG. Right now I'm still looking at the Photoshop file. I don't really need the Photoshop file at this point, so I'm going to close it and tell it no, I do not want to save the Photoshop file. And this is my contact sheet template, which I already have open in Photoshop. So now I'm just going to go and actually grab the contact sheet JPEG with the images laid out and bring it into this Photoshop file. And for that, I'm just going to bring up Bridge, kind of move this to the side so that I can take and drag this contact sheet here that we just created as a JPEG directly into the Photoshop template for the actual contact sheet. So it has this little free transform box around it, so I could resize this at this point. I'm just kind of interested in dragging this up so it's kind of out of the way of the text at the bottom there, and I'm going to get kind of close to the edge of the frame here, maybe something like that. And to make this free transform box go away, I'm just going to click on the check mark up here. Alright, the other thing you will notice is that there are some layers already here in the template. I'm just going to take and drag my contact sheet right above this layer 0, but right below the frame and the text layers. This is just basically the frame, and this gray line is what this group represents. And then these are actual text layers down here at the bottom. So right now we're most of the way there. I just want to fill in this generic text stuff down here. So I'm actually going to zoom in on the screen. I'm just using Command plus. You could use Control plus to zoom. And I'm just going to kind of navigate down to here. If I hit the shortcut key T, it'll bring up my text tool. And I can just click in the text layer, slap a name on this thing, and maybe call it something that makes sense down here. So how about 2-2 contact sheet proofs, so everybody knows which document we're looking at. And I'm just going to confirm that again. Now, where do you find your actual image settings here for these different images? So let's say we wanted to go up. The first one is Kells in Field. So I can go ahead and put that in for the image name at least. Kells and Field. There we go. And confirm that change. Now, in order to find out these image settings, you guys may have discovered this already, but if you bring up the image in Bridge, so here's my 4 images here. I'm just going to click on this Kells in Field, and now I'm going to look over here in this dialog box and see that it gives me my aperture setting, my f-stop there, shutter speed, and also gives me the ISO down here. So for your sanity, I would probably, maybe write down these settings for each of the images, or else you could drag Bridge over to somewhere where you could still see it, or you can just kind of keep Bridge there out of the corner of the frame. You're not going to be able to see it because it's just off screen for you guys. And I'm just going to use those settings and just plug them into here. So this shot was taken at ISO 100. The f-stop was 8, and the shutter speed was at 1/100th of a second. So that's how you go in and do that. You can also come over here into your layers panel and open up this text group, and you can double click on the little T there on the layer, and that will also get you into there so that you can edit however you want to approach it. I'm not going to fill in the rest of them. I think you guys can kind of figure it out from here. But what I am going to do is go ahead and save this thing so it's ready to be uploaded. So you can see the images are laid out. I'm filling in the text. I got, we'll pretend we've got these other 3 filled in. Once again, I'm just going to open up the Save As dialog here. You can go up into your menu and do that, or use your shortcut keys. And change the format to PDF. And let's call it something that makes a little bit more sense than template. So how about CS22, put my name on it, integrity proofs, and this time we're doing it as a PDF. I'm just going to hit enter. I'm not too concerned about that. I'll just leave it at the defaults here and save my PDF. And if I bring Bridge back around, and I made sure it was saving in the same place as everything else, now we'll see that I have a PDF document as well. So that is pretty much ready to be uploaded. One note for everybody who is uploading their PDFs, these text layers have not been showing up for some reason in our online viewer whenever you're looking at the PDF. I've been told when you download it, they will show up. So we are working on that and trying to resolve it. But in the meantime, if we can all kind of upload our documents the same way to save us from having to download, and if you're attaching this, it should show up in that viewer whenever we get around to actually critiquing each other's images. So that concludes doing your contact sheet and also inserting your contact sheet into the contact sheet template with the additional image information, so that then it is ready to be uploaded for your assignment. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to checking out your images.